is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is.
You made quick work of that.
I did. I just figured if I'm going to fall, it's already decided. Let's see what happens.
There was no stool stabilization. Thank you, Billy Moran. Thank you, Michael Borja. And, wow, like a puff of smoke, Stephen Norton is already on. How's it going, everybody? Rob and I are well aware that the last thing you need is more of us on stage. That's why we pretty up our package with Matthew Cohen. That's what we did. We make it much more enticing.
Well, thanks. You're welcome. Just up here prettying up the package as I do.
That should be the name of your autobiography. How to pretty up the package.
A lot of autobiographies written.
It sounds like a manscaping novel. You know? Right, Baba? Little manscaping?
Should we go back and come out again, you think?
No, I think it worked great. Usually you do there's a lot of build up to the stool. Rob like stabilizes it.
You just did it.
I know. I felt like I was going to go for it this time, and if I fell, it would have been okay.
I get it.
I made it this far without falling. I deserve one fall. It's okay. You got to expect some accidents to happen.
I just think it's hard. I mean, it's hard for Rob and me to let you grow up, and I think it's important that we do that. And this is a rite of passage. You're your own man now, and you don't need us.
Got the karaoke handed over to you?
Yeah.
You jumping without my help anymore?
I can launch off the stool all by myself.
You have an incredibly pretty package. I mean, you just got it all.
And you got an autobiography written.
About your package.
That's right. A very busy weekend.
By and for your package.
I've never felt ever like anybody was staring at my package more than right now. So.
Oh, that's. By the way, hold on. I'm crying foul on that one. Not true.
You got an entire corridor named after your package.
After your package. This, from that end of the stage to that end of the stage, is named for your junk. So don't you tell me that you feel like you're more on display tonight. All right. Well.
Second only to that time is this the other time where I feel like we're talking about my package.
I mean that unitard was unbelievable. It was one step above spray paint. I'm telling you, it was unforgiving. No mystery left.
Anything else on that?
You know, another time people looked at this package a lot? Kings of Con video when he ran naked through the streets.
Oh, man.
A lot of package watching there.
I saw a lot of that.
By my neighbor. Yeah, well, I've never seen Rob. One of us had to shoot the wide shot from far away, and one of us had to follow him. Rob's never volunteered faster. I want to be right there.
There's nothing like seeing that package unpackaged.
That package affected by the gentle breeze of Silver Lake.
It wasn't a moose knuckle, it was just a moose.
Somewhere Jared is offended. You just called his penis Jared Padalecki.
And let it be known, from this day forward, I will refer to my package as the moose from now on.
That means mine's the squirrel.
You know, somewhere Ackles was like, I don't like where this is going. I don't like where this joke took a turn. Not a fan.
Hold on.
I'll tell you what we're not doing. Usually I ask what we're doing. Here's what we're not doing.
Jared's
let's get into questions, because it can only go up from here. That's probably a bad joke to make in reference to a package, but we're going to say that anyway. Young lady?
Hi. So my question is, what's a character on Supernatural that you relate to?
A character in Supernatural that we relate to? Robbie?
Character relate to Supernatural.
Character on Supernatural you relate to. Let me kill time by asking you, what character do you relate to?
Dean.
Dean? That makes sense.
She thought about that. I relate to Chuck.
Chuck.
I really feel like I relate to Chuck.
Chuck.
Not so much God as just Chuck. Just locking himself in his house and drinking all day and writing. Something I can relate to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Is my microphone? Come on.
Yeah. What's weird is my mic is coming through my earphones like at a deafening sound, and I can't hear you at all. So I have the.
That's lucky you.
What?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with. I feel like this is the character I played, but I don't like sweets that much. Other than that, and I don't kill people. But other than that, and I'm not an angel. But other than that,
which character that you played
Gabriel. I think Gabriel more so than Trickster.
You're much more Trickster.
But Gabriel's kind of the same guy. Like he's like stole because the real Loki revealed himself, and he's a different kind of a more monotone dude. So the thing you're thinking of who's Loki is actually Gabriel pretending to be Loki. So it's still Gabriel.
I'm not going to play a game with you.
I'm not going to play the I've seen the show game.
I directed the episode, so I know the details game.
Matthew?
Does it have to be a character we played? Is that was
no.
Oh, I was gonna say baby. I was gonna say I relate to the character baby. And I don't know why yet, but I'll have an answer by next year, early in the convention schedule.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Yeah. Thank you for your question.
You, hi.
Hello. My question's for Richard.
Yes?
Since Rob won't be able to be at the Decatur shows, our friend Erica wants to know if you could come and sing.
Rich, you going to Atlanta on Monday?
No. I cannot go to Atlanta on Monday, but I believe the shoes are being filled by. Do we know what's happening in response to your absence?
Maybe you know something I don't. I mean, the show is always going to be Jason and Brianna and Loud and Swaying.
Right, so they're just kind of filling in. The other two are going to do more soon.
Yeah, the other two are doing more songs, and I think that they're planning some fun stuff. I mean, I think you'll have more an occasion for one of those two people to be singing a Loud and Swaying song, and they've been practicing all day up in a different room, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not privy to it.
I'm sure it'll be fun. Rob will be missed, and I don't think I would be much of a help. I think I'm not sure I can fill those shoes, but they will do their best, and they'll have a heck of a couple shows.
I think it's going to be a good show. The last time I had to miss a show was because I was detained in London along with Billy, and Jason had to play alone, and people say it was one of the best shows they've ever seen. So, yeah, I know I read that from my cell. But people seem to have a really good time, so I think it's going to be magical.
It was scribbled in feces on the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Your own feces.
Exactly. Exactly.
But ironically, Billy's handwriting, so it's one of those things.
It's a long 24 hours.
24 hours. Thank you for your question.
But yeah, I'm sure you'll end up having a great time. And
you, right there.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so this is a follow-up from a question I asked in Atlanta 2016.
I'm sure we all remember that one like it was yesterday.
But my friends and I never got an answer, so we want to know, how do you get dick from Richard?
Listen, a dumb question that doesn't get asked in 2015 doesn't get answered in 2018. Good luck, see you in 3 years. You.
wow.
You.
Hi, I love you all, just saying. But my question is for Rob.
Robbie?
I was wondering if, do you think Chuck has any plans to rebuild heaven?
To rebuild heaven? Yeah, we just got the paperwork. The architect turned in the draft. I like what he's done. I need to redo the study in the library, but my office looks amazing. The bedroom's good. And there's a great outdoor area for wiffle ball, which we all like to do up in heaven. So yeah, no, the rebuild, it's going to take a while. It's going to be a pain in the neck.
I think it's smart that you're doing an indoor-outdoor living feel.
Yeah.
You know, taking advantage of the modern.
No, it's very modern. It's very modern. I was going to say everyone's going to be jealous, but I think there's no, I mean, you're not the only God. There's really no one on my par really to be competitive with. Kind of what I say goes. But anyway, no, I'm very excited about it. It's a real big place. Am I rebuilding heaven? Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. There's definitely a lot of work to do, and at some point I'd like to come back, maybe to the show and like straighten things out. This Michael is really a pain in my ass. So, he's one of my sons, so I'd love to grab him by the ear and say, now listen here. So anyway, yeah, I'm working on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry for my answer.
Very excited. No, your answer's pretty good.
I can't tell if you guys can't hear me or you just,
I can't.
You're not with me.
I can't hear much, but
I was like, we're rebuilding, we're doing the rebuilding the bedroom. You're both,
what do you want to step on the magic?
crickets.
Yeah, right there.
Hi. Back in season 5, when Kali had stabbed you, you said the only reason why you survived was because you made a fake blade out of a soda pop can. So I wanted to know, when Lucifer killed you, what do you think happened? Did he stab the wrong Gabriel or kill you with the fake soda pop plate.
What happened, Rich?
So it's funny, we were just having this conversation. Bubba?
Here, I remember.
I'm dead. I got killed by whatever the blade's made out of.
Soda can. I saw it happen.
Soda can, but soda can's ironically the only thing that can actually kill me, so I'm dead.
That's right.
Sorry.
There you go.
Oh well.
Answers.
Shit happens. Thank you. You.
Yes, my question is to Matt.
Hey.
My question is, how much of Sam and Dean's destinies do you think John actually knew about?
Well, when it comes to destinies, and Sam and Dean, and John, is there anything, other parts of your question I'm missing? That's all of it, right?
I don't think so.
I think he didn't know any of their destiny. What do you think?
Well, when John sold his soul and gave the cult to Azazel, he said that he knew at least about Sam's destiny, but I'm not sure if he knew about Dean's.
I'm gonna be honest. He wasn't being honest. He made that up.
Good to know.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
He wasn't being truthful on the show. Don't trust him. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Thank you for your lovely question.
Thank you for your question. You. Here. Oh, okay.
Asking the tough questions. A lot of tough questions we have.
Really tough questions.
Hello, you, right there.
Hi.
Hi.
What's your favorite TV show besides Supernatural?
All right, favorite TV show. Man, there's a lot of good TV out there. I'll tell you what I just watched. I just finished watching season 2 of Ozark, which is great.
Did you know?
Yeah. And now, another show that I'm watching that is not current, but I do a lot of realizing that I've missed great series and gone back and I go back and watch them. And I travel on a plane, so I'll download them and watch them on the old iPad. So the series I'm watching right now, which is very old, but it's phenomenal, is Deadwood. And it's unreal how good it is. And it's Tim Amundsen, Jim Beaver. Jim Beaver's all over the thing. I'm trying to think of, Titus Welliver, who was on the show you're working on, and on Supernatural at one point.
Timothy Oliphant.
Timothy Oliphant. I mean, it's a phenomenal, like the Supernatural alums. There's a bunch of folks from...
Was Titus on this show?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's a great show. So that's what I'm watching right now. Watching, just started season 2 of Deadwood.
What did you think of season 2 of Ozark?
Phenomenal.
All right.
I love that show.
Man, I love that show. We asked you about if you'd seen season 2 and you got angry.
You? Well, because you like to give away plot points. They go, Bobby, spoiler alert, Benedict is his street name.
Nope.
Well, that's what was scribbled in feces on the cell wall, I'm just saying.
Oh, you were there too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Ozark. I really liked Ozark.
Ozark's so good.
I just finished a show called The First that Sean Penn is in on Hulu. I can't decide if I liked it. It was very interesting. I kind of need a season 2 to figure out if I liked it or not. But I really love Ozark. Excited they're doing a 3rd season of that.
Oh, is that announced? They're definitely doing a...
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great show. I started watching, not scripted, but an improv comedy show called Two Mics on Netflix. It's...
Mike.
It's David Tell and Jeff Ross, I want to say, and they literally are like the Comedy Cellar wherever they are, and it's no preparation, and they kind of just like improv roast each other, and then to cut away from there, they have them in like the park in Manhattan playing chess with a random guy, just trying to make them laugh. It's really actually well done, and 2 unexpected comedians to be working off each other, I think.
But they're best friends, it turns out.
Yeah, I had no idea. I just would never, I've known both of those guys' solo careers and watched them forever, and then they're really funny on stage. And then every time they bust each other up real good on stage, they cheers. Like that. It's really funny.
Who the dudes?
It's
Jeff Ross.
Jeff Ross and David Tell.
Oh.
Yeah.
I saw the preview for it. I want to see that.
It's good. You'll like it. It's sharp.
What's it called?
I think it's called
Two Mics.
Mics.
And is that a Netflix thing?
It's a Netflix series.
It's amazing, I mean, how much TV has changed. If you look back to when Supernatural started airing, to now, how different the TV landscape is in terms of quantity and quality. It's amazing how much, I think it's for the better myself. I mean, I think, you know, there used to be one HBO doing original programming and everything else was network, and now you have so many cool platforms and cool networks doing interesting shows. What's your favorite show right now, other than Supernatural?
NCIS Los Angeles.
NCIS Los Angeles? Good TV. Rock solid television, that one. That's also been on forever, right? Hasn't that another 10 plus year show? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your question.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Fantastic. And yourself?
Nervous.
Nervous? There's no reason to be nervous. You'll ask the question and we'll butcher the answer.
My question is for Rich.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering what it was like for you working on Lucifer as a director and how it was different from Supernatural.
Okay. So for those who don't know, I recently directed an episode of Lucifer for Netflix, which will be out in the spring. It was a phenomenal experience, and of course I always feel like these answers feel like fake, because of course we're going to go up here and say, it's great, they're great, but they really are great. What's different about it for me is that it's not my home. Supernatural is a place where I've gone to work since season 2 off and on, and so I've developed friendships with the crew and the cast that were in place long before I ever directed. So even when I directed, as new and as scary as it was to direct Supernatural, I still had this little bit of a comfort zone of seeing familiar faces all around me as I entered into that new adventure. Lucifer was the exact opposite. I didn't know anybody. Through conventions, we've met Tom Ellis a few times, who plays Lucifer, and Amy Garcia, and we met Ildy, one of the co-showrunner, and they're all super lovely, but they weren't around so much during pre-production. So it was really nerve-wracking for me to be in a new space with new people. I mean, it's like, we've all done it. We've all had our first day at school or our first day at the new job, and it's intimidating. So I had that. But what is similar, aside from the elements of the show that are similar, because the show has, like Supernatural, comedy elements, drama elements, supernatural elements, there's a lot of parallels between the two universes. But what it has that is very similar to Supernatural, that makes it a fun place to work, is it has outstanding, upbeat, positive, and gifted leadership at the top of the call sheet. We have Jared and Jensen, who do a phenomenal job, day in, day out, acting their face off and putting everything they've got into playing these characters they've been playing for 14 years, and that creates an awesome, healthy, and collaborative creative environment on that set. And everybody who comes behind them, whether it be Misha, or Mark Shepard in his day, or Alex Calvert now, who become part of the cast, or Sam Smith, or Ruth Connell, everybody gets to benefit from the tone they set, and the crew does as well. The same can be said for Tom Ellis and for Lauren German. They set an amazingly friendly tone on that set that is welcoming to the new people. They want you to succeed, they want new ideas, they want fresh perspective, and they're happy to do what they can do to help you do your job really well. So in that regard, it's very similar to Supernatural. And again, we say this all the time, that's super rare. So it was great to go to a set where, and then not just Lauren and Tom, they set the tone, then here come Amy and Kevin and DB and everybody being super awesome and super warm and super friendly. So it was a great experience in that regard to be a part of that show and visit that house for an episode. It was really cool. Thank you for your question, by the way. Young lady. Hey.
So this is for all of you. I was wondering who you think your character would get along with best in the cast.
Okay, I think that Gabriel would get along really well with Misha. I feel like, I just feel like Misha's also devious and up to no good often. And a bit of a, got a crafty twinkle in his eyes, so to speak, and I think Gabriel has sort of that same thing, and they probably do things to excess in certain regards. And
he's also a very generous person.
Who?
Misha is also.
He is in his downtime. He also is very, very generous. But I think Misha's a bit of an imp in a fun way.
Interesting.
You?
Chuck. Man, oh no. Who would he? I don't know. I think he'd like to hang out with like the writers more than any of the actors. But if I had to pick one, Mark Pellegrino. Simply because Mark is a very he's an intellectual person, deep in thought a lot of the time, and kind of sits back and assesses things. And I could see maybe Chuck aligning with him, sitting down with him. Yeah, Mark doesn't really drink, but Chuck could not do that for a bit, just hang out with Mark. Yeah, that's pretty.
Put the bottle down for an hour, you know? Right? Maybe shake his way through a conversation with Mark, you know? Matthew?
I say young John would hang out well with Jason Manns. Jason Manns, a man of good morals. Young John, man of good morals, a true gentleman, opens the door for a lady. Yeah.
Somebody here loves doors.
That's right.
Doors. Woo! Doors. Points of entry. Woo!
Yeah, so I go young John is buddies with Jason Manns.
Michael?
I wish you didn't ask that.
Sorry.
Michael, well, man.
This is a tough one.
This is a tough one because you want to take it to the real life personality, not the character. I'm going to say Michael would unfortunately enjoy Jared Padalecki very much. Those two very powerful men would get along, tormenting and taking control of all sorts of weird situations together. Let your minds run wild.
I think if I'm answering for God, I think God would like to hang out with Jensen Ackles because he's the most perfect human being.
Yeah.
Just to sort of
right down to the ear canal, right?
Just to go like, yeah, wait, yeah, no, good job, me.
Yeah.
Good job, me.
Like, just like
this.
Work.
You think God would go up to Ackles and be like, hey, like those ear canals?
Exactly.
You're welcome.
That was me. That was mine.
Anytime God.
You got to tell the ear canal story. I think that's a classic.
When I was up in season 11, I was up there shooting, and Mark Shepard gave Jensen Ackles the gift of these ear monitors that we have, and they're all made especially to fit into our ears. So you have to have an ear doctor come and measure your ear and make a mold, and you send the mold in, and you get this which fits into your ear. So the ear doctor came to the set, and we're all sitting around sort of waiting to go to set, and the ear doctor gives the examination to Jensen, and he looks in Jensen's ear, and then he goes, "It's the most beautiful ear canal I've ever seen." He had to take a knee. He got real emotional. He asked if he could take a picture.
Well, I guess in the ear canal business, they probably have a perfect scenario that they go through, never expecting to actually encounter it.
Right.
That had to be overwhelming. I get that.
There's a big poster in the ear canal, of an ear canal in the office. That's what you strive for.
So when you are a canalist, which I suppose.
We were all like, of course he has a perfect ear canal. What can't he do?
You know, he's not wrong. Thank you. Thank you for your question. Thank you for really stumping the band. I really had to think about that one. Thank you. Right there. Hi there.
Hi. This question is more towards Rich. There was a fight in my home over how to say your last name. And my husband actually, to stop the fight, just called you Dick Spigot.
So you need a problem solver like that in your home.
So I was just wondering, what's the weirdest pronunciation of...
You nailed it, kid. You got it. You win. Go tell your husband, big ass face. for your question. Yeah.
Hi, I wanted to know which Loudon song you guys have not had a chance to perform, but you'd like to perform.
Anything else you need, my lady?
New Loudon Swain song you want?
Did you get the nice iced coffee?
You like that?
No, it's fine. No, we're good. You good? No, we're good.
You know what's weird is I just kind of conjured this. I just thought about it, and that's how good Hillary is.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
I was asking which Loudon Swain song you guys have not had a chance to perform, but you'd like to perform.
Is there a Loudon Swain song that we haven't had a chance to perform as a band?
But you want to perform, yeah. Live.
Live.
Also for the other guys, because they only do a couple.
Oh, that they haven't had a chance to perform? Or that they'd like to see us perform?
No, what song have you guys, like an old Loudon Swain song from an old album that you'd love to do but you haven't done in a long time? Or something maybe you guys wrote but haven't recorded, you know?
There's a song called Neurosis that's off the Overachiever EP that we've played maybe 3 times in 20 years. I rarely play it, and I really like the song, and it's just one of those songs we need to sit down and practice it, kind of relearn it to play it. But I'd like to play that live sometime soon.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have one that, like an old, like deep track?
Actually, that's one of my favorite songs that I've never gotten to hear live.
That one?
Neurosis?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I like that song too.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Hi, I was just wondering, what's the weirdest dream you've ever had?
Weirdest dream?
Weirdest dream. Weirdest dream?
Weirdest dream.
Weirdest dream.
Bobo? This is a tough one. I'm gonna give this answer. It's not a dream, but it's something. It's a pretend thing I used to do when I was a kid. Uh-oh, everybody, here it goes. When I was a kid, and my mom would make the bed, it would be she did like hospital corners, like real tight, right? So I was a little kid, and my parents would make you take a nap. I would get in bed and crawl in to be sure not to loosen the sheets, and slide in just as carefully as I could to be sure that thing stayed real taut. And I'd put my arms on the outside, and I'd lay under the sheet, and I'd pretend I was a ballpoint pen in my dad's pocket. And I had this imaginary conversation all the time. My dad was an attorney, and he traveled all the time and worked a lot, like so many parents do. So I didn't see him as much as I wanted, so I'd have these imaginary moments with my dad where I'd ride around in his pocket and be talking to the other office, furnishings and the other supplies. I'd be like, "What's going on, Scotch tape? How's it going?" You know, hang out, talk to the erasers, make fun of the pencils, because, I'm permanent. I mean, that's not really a weird dream, but it's kind of an odd little childhood imagination thing I had as a child.
I have a repetitive dream that I've had so many times, and I still have to this day. It's clearly anxiety is what it is. But I'm walking, everything's blackness around me, but all I can see is there's a long straight sidewalk, and I have a top hat on. I'm walking, and I'm just walking, and I'm just walking, and slowly, I can feel the sidewalk start to melt away behind me, so I start walking faster down the sidewalk, because it's like catching up, and at the same time, my hat starts floating away, so I start going like this, and like this, and like this, in my sleep, and then I wake up in a panicky sweat every single time. Every single time, this dream is the exact same. I have the same moment, I have the same reaction, I wake up sweaty and panicked.
That's definitely a stress dream.
Yeah. Robbie?
I have a dream that I can dance. and I dance on Broadway for all the world to see. Now, I don't know.
Wait a minute. You had me. I was like, what kind of dance? What show?
Jazz. I have a lot of panic dreams, and not dreams, just panic. I have a lot of panic dreams, only they're not dreams. I do dream I'll dream it's the middle of the night, probably because it's the middle of the night, and I dream that I'm in like hotels a lot, probably because I live in fucking hotels. But and my dreams are not fanciful. I literally have a dream with like Rich, and we're just hanging out in the hotel and talking about the convention. Like it's like honestly, I don't know if this could be a dream. So anyway,
I don't know. Try dancing. It's a dream. Best dancer ever. Oh my god. And you got Matt's top hat.
It turns into Matt's dream.
Thank you for your question. That was awesome. Your dream. I can dance. I have panicky dreams only without dreams since when I'm driving. Oh, that's funny. You.
Hi.
Hi.
So I have a supernatural playlist, and in addition to all the songs from the show, I've started adding the songs that you use to introduce the various guests at the panels, including, thank you so much, the three of you, Schoolhouse Rock. So I was wondering how you go about choosing the songs that you use to introduce the actors.
Well, you know, a lot of times we'll look at their name, maybe their name says something, there's a song written about someone with that name, or something to do with the character that they played. The fact that there are three of us, or just two of them, or five of them, you know, we'll do that kind of thing. And then sometimes we just play a song we think is cool, but for the most part we try to link it in somehow to that person. So, you know, every time there's a new person, we're like, a lot of times they'll have some new people on a Friday that we don't know. We don't know who they play, we don't know what it is, but we're gonna look up their name, and their name is Fire, then we'll play Fire by Jimi Hendrix. You know what I mean? It's just something like that.
Well, I like some of my favorites are, over the years of doing this, I would say 90% home runs, but there are those occasions where the song we come up with just does not match. The guest comes out confused. Like, how is that? I don't, because like, it's the last thing an ad. But then there's ones that are so spot on. Like, I always loved playing Mark Shepard on with Mr. Crowley.
Well, that's
always like just a home run.
Which actually was Krista's idea. Krista, we used to play.
Yeah, was your idea?
Yeah, Krista was like, you should play Mr. Crowley. We're like, we should play Mr. Crowley. That's Krista. So yeah. But my favorite song to play, which really was a reach for the meaning, but was Tomo Piniquette. We would play "Don't Call It a Comeback," LL Cool J. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. And it was.
It's a dream. You can dance.
It's a dream. I can dance. It's not a dream anymore. That we just played because he's a fighter, so he fights. And there's something fighty about
cool.
that song.
Also, he loved it. He'd come out and start shadow boxing.
So, tell her don't box.
It's called tap boxing.
I always like doing when Rich is absent, we occasionally have done It Takes Two to make a thing go right, which is always fun.
That's our song when we don't have
That's our silent stab why Rich can't defend himself because he's not here, so.
Cool. And then most recently, David and Adam, we would play Led Zeppelin rock and roll. It was because the Men of Letters, British something. It was a British song. I don't know. There was a reach, and finally they're like, "Why do you play that?" We're like, "It's British," and they're like, "We should play Boys Are Back in Town." We're like, "Done."
Also British. Yeah.
So now we do Boys Are Back in Town. Irish, right?
Oh, is that right? Leslie Irish. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're right there.
Hey, how are y'all? So my question is for Rich. So of all the many deaths that Gabriel had, do you think that they really honored his character, and if not, then how would you change them?
No, I mean, I think, look, I thought the character was dead season 5. I think it's really cool that Gabriel got another shot last year to come up and them to fill in his origin story and how the Loki sort of confrontation began and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was really great. You know, when you're an actor playing a role, you never want your character to die. You like playing the role. I think if I had to say, from a drama standpoint, purely impartially, I think the Mark Pellegrino Lucifer killing Gabriel was a much more dramatic and impactful moment than the Michael stabbing in the woods. Seemed kind of anticlimactic. It seemed like another brother stabbing me. I'm like, why do I keep fighting my brothers and getting stabbed? Note to self, quit fighting my brothers, you know? So I didn't necessarily love how he went out at the very end of season 13. But everything up to that was fantastic. I mean, getting to be a part of the story of the mythology of that episode, of that season, of having an episode in which I got to play two characters and sort of explore what that looked like. I have nothing to complain about. It was a wonderful surprise and gift to be able to come back to the show and play that character one more time for 6 episodes. I had done 5 total episodes until season 13, and then I did 6 episodes in season 13, so I over doubled the number of episodes I had done. So it's hard for me to find a negative in the experience. It was all really, really positive. Thank you for your question. You.
Hiya.
Hi.
Okay, so after like watching the show and seeing you guys like show all the other people in the Bible, where do you guys think Jesus is?
I don't know, but I look forward to Gary Oldman playing him. I think that'd be really great.
Yeah, I was excited to work with Gary.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always wondered if the writers will ever find something there to play with. We'll have to wait and see. I think there's something.
They've already cast Tim Amundsen, otherwise he'd be a good candidate.
I know, it's like, he would, literally, it would be Tim Amundsen except for the fact he's already done the show.
Exactly.
But barring that, it would be Tim. So if you can't get Tim, my motto's always been, if you can't get Amundsen, go Oldman. That's just, just kind of my go-to casting selects.
Is
Amundsen available? Fine, get Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
I don't know, we'll wait and see. Where do you think Jesus is?
Probably talking with Chuck right now about, like, where he's gonna meet Sam and Dean, or, any of the other angels.
For sure.
Makes sense.
That's happening.
I hope they shoot that scene. Thank you very much. You, young lady.
How would it feel if you guys woke up in each other's bodies on Supernatural?
Oh, so if suddenly I were, Richard Speight was Chuck, or Gabriel was Chuck, or like that? Suddenly we're playing each other's characters?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if I woke up and I was young John, I would just sit there and stare at my abs. I'd be so fired up. I would be shirtless all day long. I'd be shirtless like at the post office. I'm like, oh yeah, mail, sir, you're not wearing a shirt. You're welcome. I'd be so fired up.
And if I woke up as a trickster, I would just be in the porn the whole time. Full episode with the porn.
Do I have to wake up as one of you guys?
I know me, wake up as Matt. You'll be glad you did.
No, I was going to say wake up as Dean.
No, I think we have to go, I think it's
the 3 of us?
Yeah.
Well,
I'll tell you something.
Wake up as Matt.
I know what's going to happen. I know Rob Benedict pretty well, and if he wakes up as Matt Cohen, I'm now taking it out of the show. If you wake up as Matt Cohen, you're going to sprain your ankle getting over to see that Mandy. I know you're going to, hey Mandy, how you doing? It's me, your husband, Matt Cohen.
What, I'm not acting funny? I always act this way. See how I'm at?
Don't you think it's silly that we're all dressed like this?
In Australia,
shouldn't we snuggle?
We were watching some Kings of Con. I was showing Jeff Parise, and there was a projector, so we got to put it up on like a big screen like this. It was awesome, and the scene came up, and Jeff's like, "Isn't that your wife, man?" And Robbie's like, "Hey, what's happening? Shoo, I'll take that."
So for those that don't know, in Kings of Con, Rob fought very hard to get Mandy in the show in a role, in a scene in which he got to kiss her. And Matt had to stand idly by and watch that take place.
That's not.
And it was unsavory.
No.
We did I directed that episode, we did several takes, and we got it. We shot it, we nailed it. And Rob kept saying, "I need one more for me." Just, and then we finished it, and he goes, "Now this time, do it one more time, but film it with my iPhone." I'm like, well, why are we? Where is this going?
We're not even lit anymore. It's okay. Just no. The truth is, we wanted, we wanted. I think Mandy was great in that role, and we wanted Mandy to play that part. anything I want to say is not going to sound right.
How so?
We decided together that, well,
you decided together that you would be the kissing one in the scene.
Oh yeah, that. Yeah.
Was that, which was more interesting or I don't know, exciting for you? Kissing Matt's wife or kissing Jensen's wife? Which one was,
Jensen's wife was not Jensen's wife when I had to kiss her in a movie. I did.
Solid point.
The door lover has a point.
Yeah, the heckler has timing, ladies and gentlemen.
Anyway, is JC doing any...
All right, that's it. We're moving on to another question. I've got a film idea for you right there.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Milena, and my question is for Rob. What was your reaction to the character of God? I mean, when you were reading the script?
Yeah, I found out at the end of season 5 at the Swan Song, and I, like many people who watched it, didn't quite catch it right away. I flipped right over, and it says he's dressed in all white, and he disappears, and I was like, what just happened? Where did I go? Why did I disappear? And then Eric Kripke called me. He's like, so you're God? And I was like, oh, that's what, okay, wow, okay, that's, all right, oh, okay, now I get it. So, that was when I found out at season 5, which, was obviously very exciting. But I've said this many times, sorry if you've heard this before, but I think Chuck Eric Kripke created this character of Chuck sort of to speak through. Chuck was always kind of Eric in the show, especially in the season 4, season 5, where Eric kind of got to make little winks to the audience and like make apologies for scripts that didn't work. And there were a lot of inside jokes that he got to do. And then ultimately he made the character of Chuck God, I think, because Eric was the almighty creator of Supernatural, so it kind of made sense. And then fortunately, the plot came back around again. Robbie Thompson wrote me back in, which was awesome. It was fun to explore this dichotomy of Chuck, who's so not godly, and the character of God within this vessel. So that was cool. So it was an honor to do. But yeah, I was baffled at first. I was like, what the? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm really nailing it.
You're right there.
Hi. I wanted to say that I loved watching Kings of Calm. You guys were amazing.
Thank you.
And how Matt was physically training Rich, and instead of encouragement, he just spewed insults. That scene always gets to me.
You wanted to write Matt as he is.
So,
that's...
my question is, for all three of you, what are some of your favorite scenes that you filmed for the show?
For Supernatural or Kings of Gone? Kings of Gone? Kings of Gone. Favorite scenes to shot? My favorite scene, I'm not in. It's watching Rob and Josh Myers in the bedroom.
Ryan, it's so good.
When Josh Myers is trying to commit suicide and then decides to rub an ascot all over his person and put it around Rob. I love that scene. I laugh at it now. I ruined many takes laughing while I was being shot. It's a great scene. Those two dudes were on fire. That's my personal.
I have a new one that just watching it in Australia caught me, because you could see that moment that is super funny to the audience member where you didn't break, but it was behind your eyes when Rich had couldn't do the arms at the talent show, and you're like, here we go, Rich, here we go, and you throw the thing, and you're literally like chucking it at his face, and like on the last one, it's like your close-up, and like you see your face, and you're like just keeping it together, like to the point where it makes the person laugh, and they cut away from you before you break. It's so good. Other than that, anything that I got to do with these guys was my favorite scene ever. I mean, that was just awesome for me to play that character with these guys. I mean, it was incredible. It was an incredible experience for me. I hope we get to do more.
You have a favorite, Rebel?
I really like the stuff with you and Michael Cutlets. I think that's a really funny scene. Where
that's funny.
Throwing you out the window.
He's so intimidating, man. He's just...
and you're just trying to talk him down.
And that was fun. And the stuff with you and Ron Livingston, super funny.
Yeah.
In the sauna. It was fun to revisit it. We were in the green room in Australia. We put it up on the big screen and watched the whole season. And it was super fun. But thank you for watching the show, and thank you for bringing it up here. It's fun to reminisce.
Thank you.
Thank you. You.
Which monster is you guys' favorite monster?
Cookie Monster. I've always felt like
I'm a boogie guy myself.
But here's why I like Cookie Monster, if I may elaborate. Because he's a monster. I mean, he's that's his phylum. He's a monster. He's genetically a monster, but he's a friendly monster. He's furry. Yes, he has a problem, but the problem is with cookies. You know what I mean? So it's a problem that I think as a society we can work around, and he's still a kind of a welcome figure in most social circles. You know what I mean? Unless you work in a cookie store, he's an okay monster to have around. So I'm going to go with Cookie. Robbie?
I always thought that Oscar the Grouch was scarier than the Cookie Monster.
100%. He's got a mood going.
Oh man, such a crab.
Yeah.
Well, it's right there in his name.
Oscar?
The Grouch. Oh.
Nice tee up. Nice tee up.
I'm a boogie monster man myself.
I like the mash.
Right there.
I do the monster mash.
Oh, you do the
I do the mash. I do the monster.
You do the monster mash?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your question.
Rob Benedict on Broadway in Monster.
You.
Just thank you guys for what you guys do. I was just wondering, this is more for Richard, but all of you guys together, I know that you guys get pranked by Sam and Dean a lot, and I know that the Trickster has put Sam and Dean through a lot of interesting situations. So I was wondering, what on your minds would you want to see Sam and Dean go through?
I think we've commented before. It'd be fun to have Sam and Dean or Jared and Jensen, depending on either or, be short. I'd love for them to just be little bitty rascals running around. Can you help me up? No, I cannot help you up.
I'd love to see a whole episode where the two of you play your characters, and you know how The Rock and Kevin Hart make those pictures of little, and like you're just carrying around little Jared, you're carrying around little Jensen as if it's their grown head on the baby body would be pretty good.
Let's sneak in one more here. You, sir.
Hello, this is my first Supernatural convention. I'm so happy.
Welcome to the Supernatural family, my friend.
My question is, have you ever stolen something from the set? A prop or something?
This is the time to talk about it, guys.
All right.
Robbie stole the Impala.
Yeah. Fortunately, they've got like 3 Impalas.
Yeah.
And they believe me that it's just my new car. And they think it's a coincidence.
Well, he put a mustache on it, so they didn't recognize it for a while.
And I changed the name. I call it Fabi. So I think I'm good.
He's like, Jensen's like, hey, there's the car. No, wait, hold on. This is a Timpala. This is not our car.
It says it right here. Have you ever stolen anything?
From the set? No, I haven't. Oh, that's not true. I did steal something. The first episode I directed, which is just my imagination, Jensen, thank you. Jensen's sitting in the, and he's tied up in a chair, and he's doing that thing, what they do all the time, find the piece of metal and rope the rope up against it and cut the rope and free yourself. I kept the rope. I still have the rope. I just started a souvenir from my first directing effort. That was something that you're not going to need again, versus stealing, Jared or the Colt or something where they'd be really miffed.
Or the Impala.
Hey, listen, I don't know how you pulled that off, but kudos.
Thanks.
You know what you mean, the Timpala?
Be cool, man. Matt?
I have never stolen anything, but next time I'm up there, I will certainly steal something so I have a better answer. I promise.
Yeah, we got to start stealing.
We got to steal more shit, guys.
Stealing way more stuff.
If there's one takeaway from this, it's steal more stuff. Yeah,
Thank you for the tip.
Yeah.